Hello and welcome back to Kitchen Tips with Spread Some Magic. We're going to be talking about flour and flour substitutions and all the things about flour. And as a baker, it is important to know these things. And I think there's quite a few in here, so it's probably going to take 2 weeks. The first is, if I have all-purpose flour, do I need to buy cake flour and bread flour? Can I just use all-purpose for everything, as the name implies? There are real chemical differences between various types of white flour, and they can make a big difference in your recipe. The main difference between types of white flour is protein content. The amount of protein in flour affects how it will behave in a recipe. The higher the protein, the more the structure and chew at the end product. The lower the protein content, the more tender the end product. Besides texture, protein level also affects moisture retention, since proteins absorb moisture. All-purpose flour is 10 to 12% protein. Bread flour has the highest protein at 12 to 14%. Then there is pastry flour at 8 to 10% and cake flour 6 to 8%. The name suggests that the different types of recipes each protein content is most useful for. For lower protein means less structure and a softer crumb, which is ideal for cake, while higher protein generates height and chew, just what you need in a loaf of bread and your pasta. For best results, you should use the flour called for in a recipe whenever possible. However, if all you keep on hand is all-purpose flour, it can make an acceptable one-to-one substitute for bread flour and pastry flour. You can also make the approximation of cake flour. Simply use 7/8 cup of all-purpose flour plus 2 tablespoons of cornstarch for every cup of cake flour in a recipe. We don't recommend using bread, pastry, or cake flour in a recipe that doesn't specifically call for that type of flour. Can I use whole wheat flour in place of all-purpose flour to make my baked goods healthier? Don't do this if you want your baked goods to still turn out edible. And there are recipes out there that will tell you how to substitute whole wheat flour for that. Whole wheat flour is ground from the entire wheat berry, the outer bran layer, the germ, and the endosperm, the heart of the berry. Whereas all-purpose flour is ground from just the endosperm. While the germ layer gives whole wheat flour more protein than all-purpose flour, it also inhibits the formation of gluten. Gluten provides lift and structure to baked goods, so less of it results in a denser crumb. Additionally, the germ and bran particles in whole wheat flour contribute to greater chewiness. Thus, if you simply replace the all-purpose flour in a recipe with whole wheat flour without making other modifications, you'll end up with a dense, tough, chewy baked good. That doesn't mean you can't use whole wheat flour at all. We found that you can replace about 25% of all-purpose flour called for in a recipe with whole wheat flour without any adverse effects. Or just look for a recipe with whole wheat flour. That's all we have time for this week. Spread some magic wherever you are.